Can I have a glass of water, please?
Can't even do it. I've just lost the plot. Can I get a glass of water?
My mouth is dry.
Anyway, Alan Partridge is back.
It's back on TV.
Back on the BBC, no
Finally,
less.
it's been off there. Well, his character's been off there for so long.
Yeah.
So I've obviously heard of Alan Partridge. I mean, I've seen the World Cup footage where it's like the mock commentary on a game where he goes, you know, he's got a foot like a traction engine. Twat!
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people have got their love for Alan Partridge from.
Yeah.
Of people our age.
Yeah.
So obviously Alan Partridge started in the 1990s, sort of before we were born.
Yeah.
In 1996.
Blimey. Christ.
Takes me back.
Yeah.
When I was a wee barb.
Well, coming out of the womb.
God, yeah. So I first started watching Alan Partridge properly a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I started with I'm Alan Partridge.
Okay.
Which I think came out in 2002.
Okay.
And so basically what he is, he's a radio show host for a local station in Norwich in East Anglia.
Christ.
And it's just your classic local show that won't get many views.
Yeah.
And he can kind of get away with doing anything. So yeah, that's...
And now he's on primetime
TV.
Yeah.
Back on the BBC. I think you did Mid-Morning Matters on Sky, which was, I think, another kind of like radio thing.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and then he had his own film, 2013, which I saw. That was quite funny.
Oh, really? I remember the film. Yeah, I've never actually seen it. Was it good?
Yeah,
Did it live up to...
I've got it on DVD,
Oh, wow.
CD-ROM,
CD... Surround sound.
Blu-ray,
Stereo.
For those of you who don't know what a DVD is, it's a disc that you put into a DVD player. None of these Netflix and chill, Blu-ray and chill.
DVD and chill.
Yeah. So, should we get onto it?
Yeah, so I love the fact that the show was just unapologetically British.
Yeah.
It made me think of what I consider the golden age of British TV, and I know everyone's going to have a different perception of that, but I think of like Little Britain or Ricky Gervais, The Office.
The Office.
And I think something that they did perfectly, that especially that The Office does so well, is that I think as much as the dialogue is funny, I often found myself laughing if after something awkward would happen and it'd be a look, and that's something that The Office did
really
perfectly.
subtle,
He'd say something and you'd see him go, just at the camera, almost smile. It was really funny.
I think it's refreshing to bring back that kind of humour and comedy to just TV in general.
I think so, because so much, especially British TV, I find that so much of it has become Americanised, and there's not a problem with that. No. But a lot of American humour is very much in your face. Oh my God! You know, shout, very loud, shouting.
Screaming down the camera.
Hollering,
waving. Dancing, singing, partridging, partridge in a pear tree.
Crying out loud. You can tell we're not scripted, you know.
So another aspect I think we really liked was just how live it felt.
Yep.
As though it was actually happening.
And it was as if it was
air.
an actual. I've got an acquaintance that works at the BBC, and from the stories I hear from them, name dropping. From the stories I hear from them, it looked so real behind the scenes, and it is almost like a British version. And I know this sounds like a very simple comparison, but in terms of like the chaos behind camera, like a British version of Anchorman. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good comparison, yeah.
In seeing kind of behind the cameras and how much of an idiot kind of, you know, Alan or Ron Burgundy is.
Yeah,
But that's what I was saying, like that's almost like the Americanised version, you know, and this is more British. They don't have all the shouting, which is great. I love that film, but I really like this. We were talking about how, as much as Alan Partridge is nothing like Piers Morgan, but we were saying how it reminded us a little bit of that dynamic between Piers Morgan and Susanna Reid, because you've got Alan Partridge and Jenny, and he's just going off on tangents and causing obscenities, whereas, you know, running off down a corridor, like, would you like to finish the interview, please? Would you like to finish the interview?
Free range.
I'm going. And it's almost like when Piers Morgan will go off, it's like all that's got to happen is like a vegan person's got to breathe, and he's already going, "You're putting butchers out of business. Who do you think you are?" And you've got Susanna Reid kind of going, "Well, no." And that's what I feel like this Jenny, played by another. Her name's also Susanna.
Yeah, Susanna Fielding.
Susanna Fielding. I thought she did really well.
Yeah, really good job. I think it almost felt like a spoof of the One Show as well at the same time.
It did a bit.
If we move on to like the first segment they had was looking at some leopard seals.
Yeah.
Which was just obscene. Like Alan just was coming out with these obscenities, like the German U-boat comparison as they fly through the wall.
Talking about the velocity of the leopard seal.
Yeah.
And when the person they were interviewing, he called Alison Clunt. Alison Fluck. I see what you did there.
I see what you did.
It's just little simple back and forths like that that make it so simply funny, and
Although it was a spoof, just the factual kind of nature of some of the things they were doing.
Yeah.
If we move on to probably the best part of this first episode was the whole hygiene section, and
the fact that for a start the person he's interviewing is called G.
It was just fitted so perfectly, and you've got that video of that woman washing her hands for like a good solid couple of minutes.
And I can't remember how it got to it, but it's like, would you like me to show you? And he goes, "No, we mustn't." And then he obviously, like, back in the studio, he did the whole demonstration of how to wash your hands without touching anything.
So
on, like,
good, and it was so accurate.
It was. And move, and pivot, and step, and squat, and...
Paper.
And it just is true. I mean, I don't think you see the state of some of these train toilets, and it just maybe not to that extreme. But you are like, I found myself in the past using my foot to lift up the seat.
Do you know what that kind of scene reminded me of? It reminded me of a really daft segue in Family Guy, where it would have no relevance to the episode. But, Peter Griffin would be there in a toilet just doing what Alan Partridge was doing there.
That'd be more like slowly trying to get the paper down.
Yeah,
each time it won't move, and it will go on for 2 solid minutes.
It's like the frog when he's trying to lift him out the window and it keeps falling down.
Yeah. Christ.
I think probably the final thing we can talk about is the interview with the hacktivist as well. Because
for a start, the giraffe mask just had me gone from the start. Because you expect them to see in the classic Vendetta mask.
To keep his, keep him. I can't even think of the word.
Anonymous. And he turns up in a giraffe mask. And he starts reeling off. He's hacked the BBC, and he's reeling off kind of the salaries. And, Alan, the texts and emails that Alan Partridge has been sending around.
And
he's to Richard Hammond, guess who's back? So, Alan Partridge back on TV. What did you think of it? Because we saw, as much as we loved it, and it got really good critical reviews,
we saw mixed reviews.
Mixed reviews on Twitter.
Flicking through the old social channels.
Yes.
I saw people saying it wasn't Steve Coogan's best work. Which is interesting because when things come back, I mean, we've done a Doctor Who review where it's come back as a woman.
Link in the description below. Help us out.
Then we saw mixed reviews for that. Obviously, Partridge's completely different light. But 5 more episodes. We'll probably be back, making no promises. But hopefully we'll be back with a review of the whole series.
Depends if you watch this.
If we get enough water and our mouths don't continue to be dry, then we'll be back.
My mouth is dry.